What's up, everyone? Today I want to do a news story like I occasionally do. Today's topic is two sisters slash a young girl's face for being too pretty. I actually stumbled across this by a channel that's quite well known. It's called Just Kidding News. It's a spin-off channel on news of the stars of Just Kidding Films, which I've been following for many years. They started on YouTube themselves. They do comedy skits, and it's crazy how far they've come from the days when they started off just doing little skits for fun and how many viewers they have nowadays. So anyhow, they did their own reaction to this story, and I have my own opinions on this whole thing that are somewhat different from theirs. Now, no offense to them. So basically, what they do, I'll give a link in the description to their channel, to the video, but they sort of just sit around like in a coffee table sort of setting, four of them, and discuss this. And they sort of, I don't want to offend them, but they came from a somewhat Americanized, first world perspective of this, and it was very much limited. Now I can't do much better, but I can at least open the bottle or open the jar or open the can of worms. I think that's the expression. To so that you can at least understand how it's more than just how they express it. So they were going on about how this is outrageous. These girls should be tried. They should go to prison. All this stuff. And I'm thinking all this whole time. I looked at the article they referenced. First off, it's not in America. This is in a Latin American country. So first off, those rules do not necessarily apply at all. There's a corrupt government in a lot of those areas. The economy is a mess. On top of that, um, a lot of legal rules are different, and also, like they were saying stuff like this is ridiculous. When I was in high school, up going to college, I wasn't concerned with this stuff, and that's it's fine, but that's coming from an American perspective. This is a third world country, supposedly. It's definitely not a first world country, and this place is somewhere where there are honestly like who knows if this people even go to college. Maybe you're just stuck in high school. So there's so many other variables, and in addition to that, they sort of like I don't want to make this something where I'm just hating on them. I honestly very much liked their channel and stuff. But honestly though, they went on and said stuff like uh, it's outrageous that they did this. It's not normal. Um, but for me, like I realize that the it's a better and better place, and I think this is also outrageous. But I'm starting to realize through history and research that these sort of stuff happen all the time. You know that saying that goes, um, "Has the world always been such a screwed up place, or are we just starting to realize it with technology?" And I think it's the latter. The advent of technology with DNA fingerprinting and uh, people leaking photos and the advent of videos and technology and photography to capture things, we've been able to document things and provide concrete evidence for things like um, murders, uh, bribery, treachery, backstabbing, leaked nude photos, sexual flirtation, adultery, cheating. And from my opinion, all this stuff happened all the time. And nowadays, it's getting, in my opinion, to be less and less than it has been for the last 1,000 years because technology is starting to root things out, and the legal system and everything, at least in certain countries and nations, are better at punishing people for these acts and establishing them as not great. And in this case, with this article, um, you know, personally, I feel like this is something that happens um, quite so more often than you would realize. You'd be surprised if you actually knew. In the past, I feel like it's the same sort of thing. Um, and again, I don't want to extrapolate too much from this. I feel like uh, when Just Kidding News did their review on this article, they extrapolated things that weren't in the article, like uh, the fact that the girls were not punished, the reasons behind this. Honestly, a lot of these things were not really clearly stated, at least in the article that was referenced in the description. And if you guys must know, this was in the town of Juan Domingo Perón in northern Argentinian province of Formosa. And I feel like it's kind of stupid that most people still don't realize that you can't just trust all these articles online. Some of it may be true, but you have to realize that a lot of people bend the truth to an extreme extent online deliberately to make money, um, or just to mess around with people online. And they can do this, and there's no real repercussions from it. So you can't really, I mean, sure, there's photos and stuff, but who knows what's really true or not. In fact, there's recently a article published by a Christian website, and I looked at it, and there was like no sources whatsoever. It was very clear that this like paragraph long article. The article was titled something like "Female Gets Hit by Lightning by God for Masturbating Under a Tree," and it was written by this very random Christian website, and it had 1,000 comments, all these views on the website. Uh, Potentially, they're probably making a decent amount of money from the ads on the website too, and it was just this paragraph long article on this thing, and it's like it just seems so obvious that this person made the whole thing up to generate attention and buzz for, and more so probably just to reinforce his opinions um, on his religion stuff. And I don't want to get into that, but um, I guess it illustrates you can't be too certain. And I was really just surprised about the thousands of comments that were pretty much like, "Oh my gosh, this is absolutely real. I can't believe this happened." Um, and so, I mean, I don't know. For me, it's not that easy to convince viewers of the truth. But I guess for these sort of people, they can just put up anything, and they'll get tons of people just agreeing with them. Anyhow, though, we have this article here, and basically, from what can be told, at least implied from the article and how it's written and the video by Just Kidding News, it seems like these two girls, age 15 and 18, were jealous, really jealous of this one girl for being very pretty, and then she just cut up her face. They got together and they cut up her face. And if you, I'm not going to show any pictures in this video, but if you want to see the graphic images, I'll leave uh, the the link in the description to the article, and you'll see the stitches running across her face now from left to right, and on her back, and on her below her mouth, below her nose, everywhere. Um, and I mean, first off, I guess it's ridiculous, but um, at the same time, I'm glad that someone treated her wounds, um, and everything's healed up, and she might still have scars on her face and stuff, but I'm glad she's okay. I'm glad she survived, um, and it's not the end of the world for her. There's so many role models out there that have sort of proven this. Helen Keller uh, lost her senses, everything except I think touch and smell, um, and I guess taste, and all these other role models out there. Stephen Hawking can't even move, can't even talk, who can accomplish great things. So it's not the end of the world for her. It is, unjust and stupid and horrendous. But if you look at history, um, times in the past, in the recent past, in the distant past, were even a lot worse. And there was a time not that long ago, for the last, since the start of our existence as a species, where um, there was no rule of law, there was no punishment for this. It was just the wild. There was the jungle, and it's not that far off. It still happens in countries and places out there now, where people get jealous. Whether it's true or not that these two people did it out of jealousy because this girl was apparently very pretty, who knows? But that sort of stuff happens. Jealousy does happen here too, and they just go about it and they cut a girl up, and they cut up their face, and they get away with that stuff, and it's ridiculous. And I think I'm glad there's a lot of nice people out there who don't do this stuff. It's ridiculous, and I think jealousy is the stupidest, as Charlie Munger says, one of the stupidest uh, emotions you can have, because it'll bring you nothing, no good or no benefit, 99% of the time. The only good use for jealousy, in my opinion, is to use it to improve yourself. Don't hold anyone in contempt or anything like that. Um, this was ridiculous, and it's ridiculous that there's people out there who, I mean, not necessarily cut people up out of jealousy, but there are people out there who do a lot of crazy things out of jealousy. Even in first world countries, they do it in different ways, and I think it's all ridiculous. Rather than cutting people up, instead they will do underhanded, white collar things. I don't know what that necessarily entails, but it's probably something like they'll get, maybe they're jealous of a coworker who gets a promotion, or they're jealous of this person because he's more good looking, or maybe has uh, is getting more attention, and he'll try and sabotage that person by making rumors or sabotaging their work or befriending people and then backstabbing them. I feel like all that sort of petty stuff, backhand stuff, it just leads to, you know, unnecessary drama. And honestly, you're much better off just staying in the center of the court, being very righteous and moral, and following the rules, and succeeding yourself without doing any of that. And energy and time spent there is probably more fruitful and will get you more fruitful results. That's all I really want to say. As always, like, favorite, comment, subscribe. Thanks for watching.